all of life is a medium for relationship. Our God is relational. Father, Son, Holy Spirit from all eternity past have been in relationship with one another, the great three in one. And he has said in his word that the entirety of the law is summed up in this, that you love your neighbor as yourself. And so he's made these relational beings who love one another as a demonstration of the relationship of the Trinity and the love that God has for his children. So when you're a student and not a student first, and you see the whole world through the lens of a Christian, one of the big questions you're asking is, how am I going to love others in this? How am I going to relate to others in this? And there's really two ways, I think, to think about it. The first is in the future, and the second is in the present. When a student is thinking about their future, what they ought to think is, when I pursue whatever major I'm going to pursue, for example, when I pursue my studies, I'm not doing that simply because I want to make an individual achievement and get individual accolades in an individual type of profession. So when people ask you, what are you choosing for your major? What are you choosing for your career? What are you hoping to do for your career? That should always be thought of in the context of other people. So one way you could ask it is, who are you trying to help with your life? Who are you trying to help with your major in your career? Whether you're going to be an accountant, or you're going to be a lawyer, or you're going to be a doctor, or you're going to be a vocational minister, or you're going to be an electrical engineer, all of it is a medium for loving others. And so in that sense, it's a medium for relationship. And then if you move to the present, it's a medium for relationship in the sense that whatever you do, wherever you do it, God has called you to love the people around you. The whole law is summed up in this, that you would love your neighbor as yourself. So it's not simply, hey, go to college as an individual and do your individual studies and sit at your individual desk and listen to your professor, but it's just this one-on-one relationship that's not really a relationship. The entire time, you ought to be thinking to yourself, how am I loving those around me as Christ has loved me? And therefore, you become a group studier, and you think about all the things that used to be autonomous and independent. You think about them more interdependently and think, how am I going to impact the people around me? Because remember, everybody around you is walking through those same formative years that you are, asking the same tough questions, coming with a whole lot of personal challenges and baggage from their past, and they are all eternal souls. And so you're asking yourself, how am I going to love on these eternal souls and help them come to know Jesus as well as I can? And when I say that, I don't just mean go do personal evangelism. I mean, your whole life is personal evangelism in that regard. You're trying to show them the great love of the Trinity played out in the dynamic of your relationship, the great love of your kind Father for you played out in the dynamic of your relationship. And therefore, when you think about scheduling your week, it's not this individual goals chart, and if I have my 6 hours a day laid out for studying and I've got my 2 hours a day laid out for working out, I'm going to do my whole life with my headphones in, and I'm not going to interact with anybody ever. That would be a misunderstanding and a misappropriation of the life that God has called you to.